this might be easier for you to see the 3 thicknesses. So these 2 are 8 ply, but they're definitely different thicknesses, and I don't know whether you can see that. And this is a 10 ply, the Spot Saver. So the pink's sort of in the middle. So that's why I definitely couldn't do the same amount of casting on as I did for this one. I definitely didn't need as many stitches. So, and I needed a lot less for that one. So I just sit here quietly now and I just rethread. So if you're a beginner, and just make sure that your working yarn that is attached to your ball or your skein, however you call it, is on your right hand side. So you want your pointy end of your needle to come back out here. I did make a mistake once and started this side, and I came down and sat down to knit and thought, oops, the working yarn is at the end of my needle with the number. So I just quietly slip the needle back on, making sure you don't pick up the extra piece of yarn that you've used to hold your stitches. And so it doesn't take long to put it back on. And I just work my way along. And when you get along, sometimes you can put all the stitches on and you can just pull on your thread and the whole thing will come out. One time I had to pull the thread so that I pulled it as I was going along like this, because it wouldn't come out of the whole thing. So once it's back on your needle, you can just pull the yarn back out and it's all safely back on your needle. And so here's your knit stitch and your purl stitch. Your purl stitches have these little bumps. Is that going to focus? Your purl stitch has a bump and your knit stitches have these little V's. So this is just how I do my cardigans, because I was with a group of ladies yesterday and they were admiring my cardigan that I was wearing. And they asked me what pattern it was and what yarn it was, and I was quite happily told them the yarn, but I said I don't use a pattern, it's just oblongs. It's just me, once I've worked out how many stitches I actually need for the ribbing, and I try it on like this and they just couldn't comprehend it. And they just like, you didn't use a pattern? Wow, that's so... They thought it was really clever or really hard. I don't think it's clever. I think it's a very simple way, because sometimes when you look at patterns and you're casting on, but your body shape isn't the same as everybody else's, and so the cardigan might fit in the back but not in the front, or fit in the front but not in the sleeves, and so it's good to know how you can adjust things and not do... There was a lady and she said, oh, the sleeves are too long. Look, I've finished my cardigan, but the sleeves were like really, really long for her. And she'd been knitting for years. She just hadn't thought about transferring the stitches to a piece of yarn, using stitch markers to join the seam up of the sleeve and the side seam as well, so you could actually try the cardigan on and see if the thickness of the, not thickness, if the sleeves are actually fitting around your arm, because some people have really thin arms and some people have thicker arms. And she didn't think about doing that for the length, just to see what it looked like for the length. And so everyone said to her, haven't you got a tape measure? Can't you measure your own arm from the armpit down to your wrist, or wherever you want the length to be, and then measure what you're knitting? And she never thought about it. She said, I just follow along a pattern. She'd never thought about how to adjust for her own body. And I think she'd done a jersey for her grandson. And she goes, look, the sleeves are just way too long for that too. And everyone's saying, well, measure or get a measurement, ask your daughter or daughter-in-law to measure the baby's arm, and then you can make it a little bit bigger so you can fold up the ribbing so it can grow into it. I had to grow into my cardigans. Mum always had bigger things for me and I hated it. Nothing ever fitted. It was always too big. You had to grow into your school uniform and I never grew into anything. So, yeah, it's just a simple thing of having a tape measure. And just remember, if you get an old one from a second-hand shop or you inherit one, when you're always using a tape measure, I haven't got mine here, and you're always pulling it along, gently pulling it along, especially when you're sewing and things like that, they can stretch after a while. And so you can find that you can be half an inch out, or sometimes even an inch out of these really old tape measures. So just little things to consider. So I'm about halfway along putting it back on the needle. So I'll just keep doing this, and then I might go doing a bit of tidying up, and then I'll finish how much ribbing I want. So normally you do about 2 inches or 1.5 inches. I still work in inches if you're in metric. I need to get my tape measure and see what the other size is. Where's my tape measure? It's on the floor behind me. And you just do as much ribbing as you like. I mean, I used to have a cardigan when I was a teenager, and it had a great big wide band of ribbing, about a good 6-8 inches. And that was the fashion, having something different like that. So you do what you want to do and suit yourself, and there's no rules in anything, and that's what I'm really enjoying, and that's what's making it easy for me. I don't have to follow the rules and be the same as everyone else. So yes, but once you've tried it on and made sure you've got the right number of stitches. So what I was saying before, when I had it way too long, get an extra stitch marker. If you haven't got stitch markers, just use a piece of thread, poke it through, just have it hanging over a couple of inches each side so it doesn't fall out. But I think I had to take off on the other one I did before I got it right, as I took off a good couple of inches. So I put a stitch marker in and then counted how many stitches I wanted left on. And that way I knew the size. And luckily the second time I didn't have to do it a third time, but I did do it twice. But when I was doing the patchwork cardigan, I was so excited that I tried on my sleeves by putting the sleeves onto yarn like this, putting stitch markers up the side seams and then down the sleeve seam, and I'd try it on all the time. I think I must have tried it on like 5 or 6 times, and every time I thought, oh, just a bit more. So I was getting quite excited to get that one finished. It's always exciting to get something finished so you can actually wear it. Yeah, and then people who are experienced, they look at it and go, oh, yeah, another cardigan. They don't realise your excitement of actually getting something and being able to wear it, making sure it fits. So funny. All right, enough of me prattling. I'll catch up with you later and I'll get these back on the needles. So there's no rush. Don't keep up with me. Just do it in your own time. These videos will be here forever. I'll leave them here, and maybe in 10 or 15 years there'll be somebody learning who can get an idea if the internet's still around and people have power and they can keep learning. I hope I can teach people just some ideas of how to customize things and just have a go, being a bit different. But I think things are a lot more relaxed now than what they used to be in the old days. So, all right, thank you for watching. I hope I'm helping you. If you like what I'm showing you, please give me a thumbs up on the videos, subscribe, leave a comment and let me know how you're getting on. I'm really excited to know if people are finding it helpful. If you think I'm completely crazy and you're just using a pattern, that's fine. Tell me that as well. Okay, I'll catch up with you later. Have a good day. Bye.